replace the word ransomware attack with disaster. So you have a disaster. Everyone knows DR. We've been talking about DR as a service and DR and backups for years. But this disaster, as opposed to a fire or a flood or an earthquake, is intentionally targeting systems. This disaster is specifically evolving to target key systems to prevent you from recovering. It targets your domain controllers, it targets your backups, it can infect and encrypt your ability to restore if you don't have immutable, off-net, write once, read many type of backups.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Incident Report presented by Quest Technology Management. I'm Paul Burke, Director of Technology Communications. Every week, I'm joined by VP of Sales and Partnerships, Adam Burke. The Incident Report brings you conversations with thought leaders, business innovators, and channel mavericks to help you stay productive and agile in a changing technology landscape. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Incident Report. I'm one of your hosts, Paul Burke. Across from me, Adam, how are you doing today?
Great, Paul. Locked and loaded. June 1st, 2023, kicking off the summer. Kids are out of school. Heat index is spiking. All sorts of fun activities going on around the world. I'm ready to go today.
Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. Have you heard that, Adam? You're supposed to say like rabbit, rabbit, rabbit at the first day of the month.
I have not heard that you're supposed to say rabbit, 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 but the Boston Celtics lost, which is great. So I'm happy. I don't know about you.
Please email us and let me know. Paul, you're not dumb. That's a thing.
Sounds like witchcraft. Sounds like the occult and some witchcraft. I think you might need to say some Hail Marys and get yourself squared away there, brother.
If you're a witch out there and you're like, no, that's exactly what I do, let me know. Also, I realized at my intro, I don't feel like I'm bringing it strong, Adam. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, please write in an excited voice a intro for the incident report. Can I read that, Adam?
Let's hear it. Let's hear what the what ChatGPT launched out here. Let's see it. Let's see what they got.
Ladies and gentlemen, tech enthusiasts and partners in the channel and innovation, welcome to the Incident Report. We unpack the latest news stories in the partner channel. Every week, we embark on a thrilling expedition uncovering hidden gems that make our channel-loving hearts skip a beat. We'll take you behind the scenes, giving you exclusive insights and expert interviews, offering a peek into the dazzling world where groundbreaking ideas meet groundbreaking execution. Prepare for an adrenaline-fueled journey like no other.
That was fantastic, Paul. I have an idea.
Yeah.
Next episode, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna type into ChatGPT, and that the entire episode needs to be scripted by AI, and we just have to read. We just have to mouth what our machine master overlords dictate for us to say. I think that's a great idea. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong with giving AI the ability to self-code? There's a good idea. That's a great idea. Let's do that. Like none of us have ever seen any of these horrible movies ever before. Yeah, no, let's keep rolling down this train. I love it.
If Terminator taught us anything, Adam, it's that AI, we can trust it and it's going to do the best thing for us.
I saw a guy I know in the channel. He had a LinkedIn post. He said, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And it was a picture of Sarah Connor, like looking out in the park just before the H-bomb goes off and melts all the children.
Oh no.
It's just a still shot of that. And so if you watch Terminator 2 like a million times like we have, you're like, oh, that's Sarah Connor's flashback right before she melts horribly during the H-bomb explosion over New York, over LA.
This intro that I did, it is heavily edited. It gave me an intro that's like 500 words. I cleaned it up. I edited it down. If anybody out there is like, hey, I should probably make friends with AI before it takes over, I'll tell you this. AI loves the phrase buckle up. They wrote buckle up so much I had to edit it out. Probably like 5 times in the intro. They're like, buckle up. If you want to talk to AI and kind of use the language they love, huge fans of buckle up.
Was the buckle up derived from looking at our podcast? Do we say buckle up a lot and we're not aware of it?
No, I don't think so. I've never said, I can't remember ever saying buckle up.
Huh. Interesting. Because it pulls from the podcast, right? It's because all the notes are, we are way off script right now, by the way. We are going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Pretty deep here, but that's okay.
Apparently, according to this intro, we're currently uncovering hidden gems that make channel-loving hearts skip a beat. So I feel like this conversation we're embarking on a thrilling expedition, Adam, right now.
That's good. Yes, it's good. Thrilling expedition, skip a beat. Those are some good buzzwords, man. We gotta get that in copy, get that printed.
Okay. You want to get into it? We'll get into some stories.
Sure, let's do it.
Heading over to CNBC.com, the Trillionaire Club got a little bigger. Nvidia, they popped over $1 trillion in valuation, but then they dipped back down to just a measly 990 billion, which, so I don't really even know if this story is relevant because I don't care about a company worth 990 billion. We're talking, that's peanuts.
So yeah, so before I go into Nvidia, like I think it's an amazing company. They're doing a great job. I think they're getting swooped up a little bit into a bubble right now. I think there's some, I mean, so just so we're all on the same page, Nvidia is now worth 5 times Cisco Systems.
Wow.
A chip maker all of a sudden in the past 3 months here has ramped up significantly into a little bit of that bubble territory. So it's great. It's really cool. They've ramped pretty significantly behind a lot of this AI innovation and news stuff going on out there. But I think there's probably gonna come back down to reality here pretty soon. It's grown significantly.
Didn't they come back down to reality when people started to worry about crypto? Everybody was investing in Nvidia because all the crypto miners were using their GPUs maybe a year ago. Nvidia took a real big hit.
So in November of 2021, it peaked around $330 a share. And then, yeah, you're right. So it kind of people started getting worried about, cryptocurrencies and crypto winter and all that kind of stuff. And they're using a lot of their GPUs. So it kind of fell back down to, recent low of, I mean, it went 330 to 120 a share.
Now it's $400 a share, right?
Yeah, it's basically $400 a share. Yeah. It's gone from three to 112 back
Mm-hmm.
up to $400 a share in the last about 18 months. So pretty volatile, a lot going on there. But this round is driven by the idea that AI is going to take over and they need their advanced processing chips. And I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but Nvidia, I mean, they were the guys who built all the gaming chips, right? I mean, Nvidia was what you saw in the gaming consoles. You saw it as in the Alienware, like gaming laptop type of stuff. It was primarily for visual effects,
Mm-hmm.
and they've kind of completely taken over the market from an AI hype standpoint. So you got some folks out there who are not quite buying into the hype.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes.
I feel like Nvidia is the one selling the shovels in the 1840s to all the 49ers running up the hills to find gold.
Yeah. There's probably a tulip analogy in there too right now in the middle of the bubble. I think they're trading right now at something like 40 times next year's revenue, if I have that correctly. So that means you're saying the company is selling. You're valuing a company at 40 times its revenue for next year's revenue. So I mean, you're paying a lot of juice for that. I mean, it's a great company. They're doing a good job. Nothing against them, but it's got a little hyperbolic. And usually when you see a stock, go vertical like that straight up, someone's going to get burned.
And if I hear you right, Adam, it's usually the people who aren't invested. So be sure to put all your money in Nvidia. That's our hot tip. I'm being sarcastic. I'm not a professional. Don't take my words as gospel.
Well, something they did that was kind of sneaky, and you don't really hear about it much, but on Friday night they did a release and raised it and they sold additional shares. Not that that's bad. Not companies can sell equity anytime they want, but on a Friday evening before Memorial Day weekend,
Mm-hmm.
right when they're about to cross the $1 trillion mark of valuation, they release a significant amount of shares in equity and sell it on the open market.
Oh, just to nudge them across the trillion?
No, basically saying like, well, make hay when the sun is shining. If your company is
Oh,
valued at 40 times revenue, and on a Friday night just before a holiday weekend, you release a bunch of equity to the market and have it get scooped up by automatic trading. It's not illegal. It's not anything like that, but it's definitely a little, you should look at that.
oh, that's interesting. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Like don't look at the hand over here.
You know what? I'll look to ChatGPT to come up with a great transition for me from that story to this story.
They can help you out. They're using Nvidia's GPUs. They'll
Yeah.
help you out.
So over at channelfeatures.com, backups are prime targets for ransomware attacks. Most remain exposed. Veeam's 2023 ransomware trends report shows many pay the ransom, but don't always recover the data. In fact, a big portion don't recover the data. 39% of incidents their backups are entirely lost. So there's a lot of numbers, a lot of percentage in this story. Adam, what did you think of the report?
Yeah, well, ransomware attack, and for folks who are not aware, a ransomware attack is where bad actors basically get control of your environment, of your corporate data, of your systems, and they basically hold your company for ransom by encrypting access and basically saying, we own your environment, or we own your critical data, or we're going to release XYZ, or we're basically you lose control of your digital assets. That's everything from your customer database to your accounting software to your key systems, everything, communications, everything. What bad actors are doing is one of the best ways to survive a ransomware attack is if you had quality backups. So replace the word ransomware attack with disaster. So you have a disaster. Everyone knows DR. We've been talking about DR as a service and DR and backups for years. Ransomware is just another disaster. It's a version of a disaster. But this disaster, as opposed to a fire or a flood or an earthquake that might take out a critical system or sever a communication line, this disaster is intentionally targeting systems. It's not a collateral damage or effect of an earthquake. This disaster is specifically evolving to target key systems to prevent you from recovering. Disaster recovery services used to be like, okay, hey, we lost this primary data connection, or we lost this backup, or we lost this system. Let's recover from backups. Let's recover from a replicated environment, and we'll rebuild and get systems back online. Ransomware is a version of a disaster that then targets your recovery systems. It targets your domain controllers. It targets your backups. It can infect and encrypt your ability to restore if you don't have immutable, off-net, write once, read many type of backups. And that's what I think a lot of the Veeam team here is talking about with their Veeam On event, is the idea that, hey, you can have a local copy of your backups and you can have an offsite copy of your backups. But if you don't have an immutable copy, if you don't have a copy that you write one time and it stays that way and you cannot change it again until a certain period of time, that local copy and even that offsite copy, because usually it's just a replicated version of that local job, those can get corrupted, those can get encrypted, those can get held for ransom as well. And then your only recovery point for that disaster, or there's just another disaster, has been targeted by that disaster. It's like the blob or whatever, it just keeps going and it goes after you and it locks you down. Eventually, if you don't have a move, if you can't recover, and a lot of these people have to pay the ransom. They just pay it because they don't have the ability to survive on their own. And we see that all the time. We run an incident response, incident containment service where we help organizations recover from backups. We help organizations. We're a Veeam Cloud Connect partner, and something that we're constantly communicating to our clients all the time is, do you have an immutable copy? Would you like to add an immutable copy to your local offsite, and just get another copy off net of your critical systems?
I really like that analogy you mentioned, the blob. So the report also mentioned 16% said they could recover everything without paying a ransom, which actually fell from last year. Last year it was 19% could recover without paying a ransom. To the point you were making, only 16%. That's, yeah, immutable backup is really, really important.
And it's the ability to retrieve the data. And this goes, so we talked about, I mean, you go back 4 or 5 years, we were talking to customers all the time. You have backups. That's great. This goes back to that discipline conversation that you and I have all the time. When was the last time you tested your backups? Because you don't want to be testing them when the hits the fan and you need to recover critical data, when you need to get your systems back online. Like, that's not the time you want to find out that, oh, shoot, we should have been monitoring that backup job. That backup did not complete, or we were trying to replicate a SQL database and for whatever reason, it had a bunch of tables and we didn't quite get this portion of the backup completed, and now that file is corrupted and we can't recover from it. Like, that is not the time. In Sacramento, when we were kids, I remember there was the Quest ad in there, and I still think we were convinced it was Dad's shadow, but he always said it wasn't. It was a dude running through the airport. It was a shadow of a man running through the airport. It says, now is not the time to be worrying about your technology.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that ad? That was a big deal. Love that ad. But that's the idea. When you're down hard or when you're in trouble, that's not the time to be realizing we should have tested our backups. So
Mm-hmm.
it's no difference, the same discipline. It's just a different version of this of a disaster. And people are realizing that this is a disaster that's got a brain. This is a
Mm-hmm.
disaster that's got someone on the other end of the wire trying to hurt you, and as opposed to building a disaster recovery plan around the probability of a fire or an earthquake or a flood or a terrorist event or a global pandemic. This is an active event, and you have to treat it as such.
And I think it's also important, don't trust that the insurance is going to cover it, because one of the things the report showed is that 21% have policies that exclude coverage for a ransomware incident. So you mentioned things are different 4 and 5 years ago. 4 and 5 years ago, easier to get insurance, but insurance is actually getting more expensive now, and many policies won't even include ransomware incidents.
Yeah, there's specific riders that need to be written, and you need to pay for if you want to be covered for a ransomware event. And then there's different versions of how that ransomware event, initiated, and if that rider is going to cover that specific type of situation. So I hate FUD. I hate fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and getting people concerned about things. But in this case, with backups and managing it, it's not necessarily, hey, you got to go buy this widget, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people out there who sell on FUD. You really better buy this new software package, or else you're putting your entire corporation at risk. Okay, that's one angle. But this is more of a, I don't care what the software is. I don't care what the platform is. Make sure you have an immutable copy off net that you can recover from, and make sure you're testing your backups. Those are things that are just straight, just discipline of maintaining your IT environment and assuming that things can go sideways, and they do, and they go sideways quickly.
Mm-hmm. A really good article, channelfeatures.com. We'll have a link in the description. Adam, how many times today have you wondered what's happening in Australia? What's the IT environment in Australia?
At least seven, at least seven today. I think about our Aussie friends often.
And I want to provide some answers, Adam. I don't want you just wondering what's happening. Channelinsider.com, Gartner forecasts strong government opportunities for MSPs in Australia. So you highlighted this article. It's really interesting. Why is what's happening in Australia? Is this a great little snapshot that's relevant to all of us?
I like Channel Insider. I feel like they have pretty straightforward articles, and they kind of have some good little nuggets of information. And I saw this around the Australian government and the CIOs and folks there, and they're grappling with similar challenges that we're seeing. And a lot of people don't know this about Quest, but Quest is pretty involved in what's called SLED, state local education organizations around the country. So we do a lot of state and local government work. We have a NASPO value point contract where we help service providers like ourselves and other organizations help deliver technology to the government sector. And we're seeing more and more government agencies around the United States needing help executing on upgrades, getting their systems to a steady state, migrating to either a private cloud instance or a certified government cloud instance like Microsoft GovCloud, or a certified private cloud that we are providing. They're pretty far behind, and this article kind of calls out a lot of similarities that I've been seeing in our state and local government engagements, similar things going on over there. So I think there's a great opportunity for managed service providers, system integrators like Quest and MSSPs to help government organizations support, maintain, and operate their environments, because they don't have the people. They're having a hard time retaining talent. There's a real skills shortage in advanced and even just standard system administration. So it's a huge opportunity, I think, for anyone that can help deliver in the government space. And it's happening in Australia. I know our friends at I think our friends at Telarus have trade winds down there in Australia. I know our friends at Avant have some folks over in the UK that are helping out there. So we have distributors and folks that we work with as a service provider that are servicing countries all over the world. We're in the South Pacific. We're helping. We have folks in Sydney. We did a Cisco 9K deployment the other day in Perth, Australia. I didn't even know where Perth, Australia was, to be honest with you. I had to look it up on a map. But for those of you who got above a C in high school geography, it's on the west coast of the great continent of Australia. I think these economies are more similar than they are different. So that's why this one kind of caught my eye, Paul.
Adam, those are great. Those are great stories.
Good
Good
ones, yeah,
finds.
yeah,
Good
yeah. I thought
finds.
they were good ones this week. So, and we didn't even have to use ChatGPT. Next time, hey, here's an idea, Paul, for our next episode.
Yeah.
Ask ChatGPT what are the top 3 most relevant articles to channel communications and channel sales agents, and maybe we'll pick 1 or 2 of those.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, let's make this AI do our job. 100%. Real quick, before we forget, Partner Forum. Quest Partner Forum, June 7th, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, so we've got the partner forum. We do it once a quarter. So we have channel leadership on the call. We go over the latest and greatest, what's happening with Quest. We do live discussions with our partners, kind of good Q&A. Great opportunity to provide feedback. Hey, I like this. I don't like that. You guys are awesome here. You stink at this. Whatever it is, pretty candid. So we'd like to have partners on there to talk with what's going on. And then this quarter, we're showcasing a couple as a service offerings in the infrastructure services space around video surveillance, access control, and managed Wi-Fi. So kind of a little bit of, hey, what's the latest and greatest, what's happening, and some new stuff out there for our partners. So it's a great time, very casual. Love for you to join. If you haven't joined, talk to your channel manager or check us out on our partner portal. You just click the link and you can register for the event. So look forward to seeing everybody on the 7th at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Love it. Sounds good. Adam, have an amazing week. Everybody listening, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Thanks so much for listening. The Incident Report is brought to you by Quest Technology Management. With over 40 years of experience, Quest is a leading technology integrator working seamlessly with your staff and systems to achieve your IT goals. Learn more about everything they do at questsys.com. And if you have questions or suggestions for the podcast, you can always email Adam and myself at theincidentreport@questsys.com. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.